challenge tonight of your team being so high on the offensive chart and their team having 3 shutouts in 4 games and being so good defensively and just trying to find some ice out there against them?
Yeah, that is something that I think our guys will be excited for that challenge. A big part of an offensive focus is learning how to in the case tonight, hopefully pull teams out of a defensive structure. I mean, that's you mentioned it is a really hard thing to do, and that's why I always say the offense is harder to build, and these are the situations that we're talking about. You get into tight checking playoff series. How do you get a team to maybe give up more scoring chances than they're accustomed to, than they're familiar with? And obviously that's a challenge against this team tonight because they are a very good defensive and structured team. And they also are very good on the offensive end. They do score quite a bit.
And the challenge just in terms of the entire road trip, I mean, this is 4 games in a row, heavy hockey in all of them.
Yeah, it is. It's, when you look at these lineups, and Winnipeg plays a really high pace and they could play a high tempo game. The other 3 teams bring a physicality if they're on their game. Where going into that, we hope to play more of a pace game that maybe it's a pace that they're not comfortable with or they're more vulnerable with. And so if we can get to our game, that's great. The other challenge for us, obviously, has been the travel in this one, but jumping around, and the schedule that we just finished, or that we're in the midst of 4 games. A week for 3 straight weeks is a heck of a grind. I think it's 4 games in 20 days, and the next 20 days after, 12 games in 20 days or something about that. And the next 20 days, I think we're going to have 4 games. So from 12 games in that span to 4 games in that span, it shows you the difference. And that is a different when you approach the game. So again, yesterday we didn't skate. Pre-game skate this morning. We looked a little bit clunky, but we're going to have to find our rhythm pretty quick.
Peyton obviously had the fight the other night, but have you seen him kind of embrace the heavy game, so to speak, being on the line he's on?
Peyton has embraced a whatever it takes game, and that's good. Again, we're playing Dallas tonight, much different than Anaheim, and you have to learn to adjust and adapt and play the game that needs to be played. And so what I love about Peyton is, I think under a positive influence of Gergensons and Okposo, he's adding to his skill, learning how to play the game that needs to be played in order to be productive. Lots of times guys feel they're productive players, but they're only, if you look at it and you recount, they're only producing against a certain style against them, and they don't adjust. They might think you're in a slump. But you're actually not playing a team or a system against you that's conducive to how your style of play. So what I love about Peyton, he's adjusting and playing different styles. He's playing how he's playing to a game plan and a strategy way more than he was maybe a month ago or 2 months ago or last season, and that's really nice to see.
I was just in there, and Darlene said the thought of a goalie playing 700 games is insane, because there's so much involved in the position. I mean, just the thought of Craig Anderson, the contributions on and off the ice this year, just what does that mean in your mind?
Yeah, 700 games is amazing for a goaltender. It's just incredible. And to have that, he's a guy that's gone through that and accumulated that experience. He hasn't gone through it, absent-minded, and he's actually. He never would have made it to the NHL if he didn't pay attention to details. I don't think he was a super talent coming in.
Right.
It wasn't on anybody's radar as a top draft pick or that. So he had to find ways to make himself better, to learn his position, learn the game, learn shooters, and on and on and on. So as he's gone through his career, he's had to continue to prolong his career studying the game, because he didn't stay in the league through his 30s because he was the best athlete. He probably stayed because he had a commitment to working, commitment to finding ways to be successful, and that he offers back to our players and our team. So very valuable. He's been a very valuable piece to our whole group in our group's progress. So it's nice to be able to put him in a position to have 700.
And how unique is it that, a lot of times guys get near the end of their careers and they're into themselves, and he's been able to really evolve in his 40s and almost act as another coach on the nights he's not playing.
Yeah, it's very unique that you have players at the end of their careers or toward the end of their careers or late in their careers give back. Most of those players are consumed with just surviving themselves. And we have, all our older players, being Okposo, Girgensons, and Anderson, every day's a challenge for them, but they're not so consumed by it that they turn totally within themselves. The three of them are always giving back. And I just mentioned that with Peyton Krebs, having Girgensons and Okposo to flank Krebsy, they give a lot back to Krebsy, and that's really important. And Craig does the same for, we talked about it during TV timeouts, having him back up on the bench instead of, we have carrying three, since we've been carrying three goalies, the other goalie that's not playing. Well, we'd prefer having Craig back up because he still offers the team, the defensemen, the group, really constructive feedback through the course of a game.